treat you like this here. Mine, leg up. One arm on neck, one arm on frontal. Your frontal off. Now 3 days later, you in front of his mom's house crying. He asking you why you being weird. Why you being weird to me? You said you wanted to get married. When I say that, when you had the leg up with your hand on my neck and the hand on the frontal, then you was telling me shit. I want to marry you. I want to change your life. I want you to get a life insurance policy on me because I'm running these streets real stupid. That's what I heard you say.
Going to Korea with my TikTok famous gay throuple.
Listen, my brothers and sisters. Polygamy is the worst thing that will ever happen to mankind.
In polyamory and polygamy is very simple. Poly comes from Greek, meaning many, and amory comes from Latin, meaning love. So together, polyamory means many loves. On the other hand, polygamy is made up of poly, meaning many, and gamy, meaning marriage. So it means multiple marriage.
What in your experience has been some major cons about polyamory? First thing that comes to my mind is scheduling.
Lunel, do men use the animal kingdom and words like polygamy just to justify plain old cheating?
Well, most men can't even spell polygamy, first of all.
Check this out. I enjoy telling women that I'm polyamorous. Listen, what that's telling them is that I'm actively involved in successful relationships. They say they single, they tell me they failing at something.
There's lots of ways to be polyamorous, but there are several ways not to be polyamorous.
That man got my back. And it feels different, you know?
Every single king, every single emperor, every single sultan, every single conqueror since the dawn of human time had more than one woman. All of them. Every single one. Read a history book. Read the Bible. It's all in there. The Quran, all of it.
Polygamy and having multiple sexual partners is disgusting and immoral.
And that was what my intention for this conversation was, to ask for help, right? In the sense of like, oh, I don't know, like, I don't know much of anything about non-monogamy, right? But these are things that I'm interested in. These are questions that I do have. And, you know, that is why I have y'all here, right? To get some insight from you all. So I'm curious, like, was there anything that you all have to add, or anything that you all have learned on your own journey while navigating this practice of, you know, non-monogamy, openness, or even just like even questions that is like, hey, I actually have a question about this very specific thing about this.
My name is Tank. I am 23 and I am non-binary. I think that if you love somebody and you have like a defined relationship, like I don't think that that matters. Like I think that people should be able to freely and willingly explore their relationships.
What is your relationship to non-monogamy?
I think everybody should be non-monogamous, but I think that's controversial. I have been in non-monogamous relationships, but I've never practiced polyamory.
You said that like you want your partner to feel like they can explore like any type of relationship and kind of just like not feel policed in, which I think is something that's like really beautiful and like to some extent feels like idealistic. Like how do you actually practice that? Like when your partner comes back and is like, hey, like I got a vibe with somebody.
My name is Kai Thomas. I'm 30 years old and I'm a Black lesbian.
What is your relationship to non-monogamy?
I feel open to non-monogamy is my relationship to it. I think like a relationship, it is agreement between how many people are in it, and if the people who are in it are like, that's the thing we want to do and like figure out how to do it well, then like that's a beautiful thing. I feel like every young Black person, like their first introduction to it is maybe like your aunties or your grandma being like, Will and Jada doing some funky shit.
In that situation, what I found was that knowing that I had all the freedom to do whatever I wanted made me less inclined to do anything else. Like it made me more in love with that person.
Why are you here today? How did you end up coming to the dinner?
Well, Ken made a story. I thought I was gonna be a grip hand, but she needed an actor, so here we are.
I am here today because last night I was on Instagram. I clicked Ken's story and she said that she needed Gaffer help. So I came here dressed like this because I thought I was gonna be gaffing. This is not my dinner attire. I just want to say that for the record, looking darkly in the camera. But yeah, I'm excited to be here and to see like everyone's creative process.
What if I get on some, I bet, I'm gonna cut some of these bitches off. I'm gonna keep one of them Telly, this who I want to keep. Can I keep one of them?
Hell yeah, you can. You're not gonna have me, but you definitely can keep the
No. So let's just break that down.
keep the one.
No.
You
Here.
won't have me.
Well, you know I want you.
First of all, you had to be a man of substance to be able to have more than one wife. You know, if you could not provide for the woman, you couldn't take up a wife. Now, many of our men in the diaspora in this period are trying to do polygamy on a budget. You can't do it that way. If you cannot afford it, forget it, you know. So that this is one of the problems. So they have nothing to offer one woman and them running down all 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
So if you can give your name, your age, your sexuality, and your relationship structure.
Myles, 31. I am currently in a monogamous relationship. I've been in a non-monogamous, and
Age, sexuality.
I'm bisexual.
Period.
I travel a lot for work, so I want to be able to be like, hey, like I did this on my trip. Is that okay? Or can I do this on my trip? It's more what I've asked of like my partner, like, can I do this? Is this cool with you? Do you feel comfortable with this? But what I've learned is that like people aren't open to that. So I've learned to restrict my boundaries to be like, when I am fully committed to a person, that's my person. And I got my person. It's his birthday too. Can I give him a shout out? Yeah, happy birthday to my nigga.
You know what I appreciate about y'all? About this situation, I think that I've always felt a little uncomfortable with the idea of like polyamory and polygamy, but I like this confidence, right? I think that I would feel very safe in a space with this level of like communication and intention around what this looks like. Because I think that I've been in like, you know, like as a heterosexual man, we like casually date all the goddamn time, right? I got like 3 or 4, but that is non-monogamy, but it's not communicated as such. You're right.
Clock it, come on, clock it. It's nothing new.
Hey, my name is Jihad Kheperu. I am 33 years old. My sexuality is heterosexual, and my relationship with monogamy, non-monogamy, I think it's pretty fluid. I think it looks different at different times. It has looked different at different times based on who I was with and how honest they was being, you know, shit. We are in a very new paradigm of what love looks like. Love and romance, this is a very like 1900s to the present kind of thing. This whole idea of like romance just started, and I think it's also dying in this exact same century. And so I think that for Black people of the Black diaspora especially, monogamy is not historically what we do. And so I think we have been, you know, ushered into this space that is very foreign, that is very violent, that is very white supremacist, that is very patriarchal, that is very heteronormative, and we're being forced to like adapt in that space. And even people that are queer, that are polygamous, have to adapt to these different structures that are not of us. I mean, you know, it's a thing. It's a thing. Like, I'm cool with it. I'm cool without it. You know, I'm here because I was summoned by Ken the Great. Woke me up out of a motherfucking nap, told me to pull up. So that's what I'm doing.
And to add on to that, I think with time, love evolves and devolves. I think it's like a graph. Like I think back in the days of like Achilles and, you know, all of those like during the Roman Empire, like love was very fluid. And I think through time, like men just like make love evolve and devolve. And I think right now we're going out of like a rut up to something different.
My name is Vell. I'm 27 and I am a man. Oh, shit, I was supposed to say my sexual identity or no?
Yeah, you said.
I'm queer, pansexual.
Just generationally, like just at this moment in time, like we're moving politically to a different, like the world is moving politically, like right, I feel, and it's gonna continue to go more progressive. And I think that's also how love is. And we all feel weird right now. Like I feel like everyone in their 20s and 30s right now, I feel like we're so lost.
What is your relationship to non-monogamy?
I would say it's a bit broken. and I'm a bit confused about it at the moment. But I would like to get to a point where I could have an answer for that.
I mean, I think patriarchy, white supremacy, misogyny wars, like all of these, I mean,
capitalism.
Like we were born into this system, like, oh, this is what love is.
Mm-hmm.
Who said that? Like, who actually said that? Does anyone know who said this is actually what love looks like?
It's a very
My name's Elhom Karbassi. My pronouns are she, her. I'm 32, and I am a sex educator with Sexpectations in Chicago, which is a Black and Brown-led nonprofit that works to bring comprehensive sex ed to the youth of Chicago. I think non-monogamy has gotten a really big name recently, and I think it can work really well for some people. And I think that I have friends and I know people who are really good at non-monogamy. But I think oftentimes there are some people who like hear the word and they're like, hell yeah, I can sleep with whoever I want. But these are people who aren't even good at communicating with like one partner. If you just want to fuck a lot of people, that's great. But like say what that is and like be honest with the fact that you just want to be fucking lots of people and you aren't actually willing to put the work in to build these relationships and build these like the trust with people. Having a monogamous relationship is hard enough. Like learning how to communicate with a partner is really tough. Really being able to be vulnerable, being able to be honest, being able to have healthy conversations. And unfortunately, so many people don't know how to do that, and they don't even know how to do it with one person. They don't even really know how to be a good friend half the time. So it's like crazy because they find themselves being like, yeah. And I'm like, girl, or boy, whoever. I'm like, person, actually, no. You're just causing harm. Like, you're just going around hurting people's feelings, and that's nuts. So I think it's a really complicated question.
I mean, that's the part of the open relationship, right? Like, we have rules, right? There was, like, certain things I couldn't do without talking to them or whatever. And then there were things that they didn't even want to know about. So that was the thing. But, yeah, I still had to heal. Although this person loved me, this person did not have the emotions available to love me properly in the way I needed to be loved. And to be fair, I had similar things. I still was dating emotionally unavailable niggas while I was dating this person. So it just didn't matter, because even when I opened the relationship up, I was still, for lack of a better word, opening myself up to people who were not ready to love me the way I deserved to be loved either. I knew even opening that relationship up that deep down somewhere I like already knew that we didn't need to be in a relationship, but that was like one of my last ways to really, really fully salvage it.
I think like love is needed for survival in the way that like we need housing, like we need water, like we need air, like you like being desired by someone I think is a beautiful thing, like being loved by someone, like someone who knows your quirks, like what makes you happy, what makes you sad, like I think it's just like a beautiful thing, and I hope that like more people have access to it. Like I think I remember being like a young college student being like that, like being in love is a thing that like I want to experience. And I think it is like not a bad thing to like desire. I think like in my head I think about like the straight Black women who are in my life, and just like how in general straight Black women sometimes are like thought of as like pick-me's. Like the idea of like a woman who's like, I just want whatever, and like that getting a bad rap. And I'm just like, I don't think it should have a bad rap that someone's like, I want to be loved.
He had just cheated on me, and he went away on a trip, and he came back on a trip, and he was like, I don't think that I want to be open, because I think like we are prone to cheat if we're open. But I was like, if you just communicate and not lie, it's not cheating. But he could never get with it. I just think that he loved me, but didn't want anyone else to have me.
No, which is fair.
Yeah.
You know, I think wanting that, it's fair because that's what we were also taught.
Exactly.
That you have one partner, you fall in love with one person, that is your everything. However, I personally think that's dangerous.
It is 100% of that.
Fundamentally, in your core, you like,
it just
girl,
does not.
y'all are wild, the ones who are choosing monogamy.
Or not even just monogamy, but just like people, I mean, even with friendships, like, I think it's less codependency. Is something that I don't really understand.
I'm not necessarily like a fan of this, but I had a partner who once like wrote out a full Google Doc with like the terms of our like open relationship agreement.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So
and
it's like
that was a
Virgo.
close. It's close. Taurus and Virgos are like
That's
sisters.
It's my type A twin right
Uh-huh,
now.
true.
You know.
No, yeah, they're definitely a Virgo, but like I'm not necessarily that structured, but it was helpful for when like when people like you're in an argument and people are like, I don't remember you saying that, but you could pull out the contract. It's like it was right in there. Like if y'all were like forthcoming about this being like how you feel and like practicing it, it would not be like nobody would be hurt. Yes. And I think that a lot of like, and I'm also speaking, I don't want to speak for straight people, but I see a lot of like straight relationships where they're just constantly hurting each other because of these like rules and norms where it's like if you were more open about your
needs and what
needs
you need
and desires,
more of something.
like
Say
exactly. And then so I think that's like my like final like kind of thoughts.
Biggest thing today is the importance of communication. I feel affirmed in my belief that communication is what gets us through whatever our relationship is going to look like. It helps us define it and also to navigate that space. I personally don't believe that straight couples are any more or less messy than queer ones. Even after today's conversation, I think we all fucked up in some different ways. But I do think that regardless of what space you are in, to communicate confidently, to have those hard conversations from a space of love is what helps us figure that out. So I'm gonna make sure that I'm leaning into that going forward.
I think my biggest takeaway from my journey of love would probably be that you can really stop yourself from fully loving somebody because of past trauma or mental illnesses, which is not obviously your fault. But I think like taking a chance and going with what you feel should always go first. I don't think that you should love somebody back because they love you back.
I think for me, I would say just like try to remove like shame from the experience of like trying to love. Cause like sometimes you're like, damn, I'm looking real foolish out here. Or like I'm moving XYZ, but it's like, if it's coming from your heart and from like a grounded place, or even sometimes the shit is ungrounded, it's just like, be holistically yourself in it. And I think that's the stuff that ends up working out. And just being honest with yourself is something I think people should be doing more of, and like not concerned about like how your relationship is being perceived. Like the relationship is between, whatever individuals are like consenting to be a part of it, and kind of take it from there. And like, it's not wrong to aspire for love.
Hello.
Beautiful granddaughter.
Oh, hi, beautiful grandmother. How are you?
I'm fine, baby. So, what's your question, girl?
The main thing that we're talking about is polyamory. So pretty much just like being in relationships with more than one person.
Many a times.
Many a times.
I just feel like, grab your hand, non-monogamy is not just some ploy or game or skit for people to get laid.
We listen,
we
don't judge.
Ever.
I was dealing with someone who had a much older partner and was like, hey, I want my younger partner to have a peer that they can grow old with when I'm gone. I had no idea that that was what was happening, but I had a relationship with this younger partner for years. And so like seeing that kind of drama play out, and then later on down the line, this older partner became a Buddhist, and a whole bunch of other stuff started happening that they never knew were going to happen.
The queer
experience.
People be acting like my non-monogamy is just an excuse for people to be cheaters, or it's just an excuse for people to be promiscuous. And baby, I can be promiscuous single. I don't need non-monogamy to be promiscuous.
At all. Thanks for not judging me.
Ever.
Okay.